hope that you're having fun following Wilson around the island today. And I want to thank you for stopping by for our conversation around VMware Cloud and disaster recovery. I really enjoy this conversation because I've been doing disaster recovery for 20 years now with large organizations, and it's always a challenge. And part of the challenge we've even had the last couple years is just the fact that with a hybrid cloud strategy, we're moving our workloads around, we're moving them back and forth, and we really need to develop a disaster recovery and a business continuity strategy that takes that into account. So many people are realizing that as their workloads have spread out, they need to stop and have a fresh conversation around the way they protect those workloads and what they would do, what their business continuity and disaster recovery strategies are. We've been able to work with several customers leveraging VMware Cloud on AWS. One of the big advantages there is it allows you to recover into the cloud, and in the cloud we can have rapid capacity and rapid expansion if needed as we recover workloads, so you can start small for just regular testing or even unit testing or small workloads. But if you need to do a full, either a test or a full site recovery, you can add workloads and add infrastructure very quickly. With VMware Cloud on AWS, you can add nodes in about 15 minutes. And so that really gives you a lot of flexibility in the cloud to control your cost, but to still have access to that expansion when you need it. We've worked with customers who have been attacked by ransomware or had other events happen inside of their data center where they needed to even just create an isolated, clean environment that they could leverage while they were restoring services on premises. And in some of those cases, our customers have enjoyed the way their workloads worked so well in the cloud, the ease of maintenance and the excellent performance in a VMware Cloud on AWS environment, that they actually just left their workloads there. And other customers have used this as a temporary measure, maybe 60 to 90 days, while they recertify, clean, and repair everything inside of their on-premises environment. And then they can simply, using a tool like Hybrid Cloud Extension, move their workloads right back on-prem. So it creates a really simple way with a lot of options and a lot of flexibility that allows us to tailor a business continuity and disaster recovery strategy to exactly what your organization needs. So we're going to talk a little bit about two of those solutions. The first is VMware Site Recovery. This is really kind of a SaaS offering or a cloud-based version of Site Recovery Manager that many people are familiar with and have probably even been using for years. So with VMware Site Recovery, you get very low RTOs and a very short RPO. So it allows you to protect those critical workloads. You can recover them quickly in the cloud. You have very little risk of data loss with that very short RPO that you get with VMware Site Recovery. And it allows you to, with a touch of a button, you've got your runbooks, you've got automation, you've got orchestration, everything built into failing over that environment and recovering that environment into the cloud. And then once it's there, you still get to leverage tools like HCX to then move that workload wherever it needs to go in the future. Anywhere that you have ESXi servers with a vCenter environment and the HCX appliance, you can connect back into that cloud and recover there. So even if you can't recover to the original data center that you came from, you can still set up a whole new facility, and within a matter of minutes you can have HCX configured, or even using VSR, VMware Site Recovery, you can protect back into the other direction and fail those workloads back over. So it gives you, again, flexibility and a lot of options on how you'd like to handle that. And then another tool that's a little newer is VMware Cloud Disaster Recovery, or VCDR. It has a little bit longer RPO, but it allows you to save a lot of money in that you don't actually have to run a VMware Cloud on AWS environment in between exercises, practices, or actual workload recoveries. That environment can be stood up on demand as you need it, as small or as large as you need it to be. So you can grow that environment for a full recovery. You can have it just stand up a small environment for a few days while you do a smaller recovery, and then you can turn that environment off and you're no longer paying for it. You're just paying for the VCDR service and for the storage that you're consuming to hold those backups, the replica copies of your environment. So VCDR gives you a lower cost option while preserving a lot of the flexibility, the automation, the runbooks, everything that you'd look for in VMware Site Recovery, into a VMware Cloud on AWS environment. So we can actually build a really comprehensive plan that would use both of those. VMware Site Recovery for your Tier 0 and high priority workloads, and then VCDR for those Tier 1 and 2 workloads that you can expand the environment after you hit the button, detect it, automatically fail over all of those VSR workloads. At the same time, the VCDR workloads can be running in parallel right behind that, adding capacity into your VMware Cloud on AWS environment and bringing those workloads back in. And it actually uses some very creative technology. So to make sure that your backup environment, that those replicas of your running VMs can be booted up as fast as possible, with VCDR, the cloud storage where those replicas are kept is actually mounted directly to the ESXi host, so those VMs are booted up immediately. And then over time, a storage vMotion will happen that will take those from the cloud storage, move them onto the solid state drives of your VMware Cloud on AWS ESXi host and into that vSAN environment where you have the better performance of that all-flash environment. So you will boot up immediately. You'll see a performance improvement over time as those workloads vMotion onto the local vSAN storage. But you didn't have to wait for that storage replication to happen. You didn't have to wait for the files to copy down before they booted up. So it gives you that quick access to your data, allows you to bring those workloads back online as fast as possible. And then over time, you'll see those improve as it actually moves them in. And actually, some advantages of VCDR is also, it can be used to protect one VMware Cloud on AWS environment to another VMware Cloud on AWS environment. So between regions now, you can not only protect on-prem workloads into the cloud, but you can protect the cloud from one region to another region. So a lot of flexibility and a lot of ways that we can really tailor these solutions to exactly what you and your customers are looking for. So I really hope that you're gonna reach back out to us, that you're gonna give us an opportunity to have a deeper discussion and conversation with you around business continuity, disaster recovery, and how you can leverage a cloud environment to help add more value to your environment and to your business. So I also hope that you're gonna follow us around the island. This topic flows really well into some of the other topics that are being discussed here today around VMware Cloud Foundation, VMware Cloud on AWS with HCX. I mentioned both of those as part of this. And then always moving into those NSXT security and networking conversations, and then even on to some of the workloads and automation that we'll be discussing today. So I hope that you'll continue to follow Wilson around the island. And again, thank you for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your visit.